Hi everybody, this is David Snyder with the Prescott Sunrise Lions for the Prescott Sunrise Lions show presented by the Prescott Media Center at the Prescott Armory. A lot of Prescotts in there. So I'm David A. Snyder CPA, MBA and EA with David A. Snyder CPA. I'm a member of the Prescott Sunrise Lions. Please go to PrescottSunriseLionsClub.org to see the projects that we participate in and come to our meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. at Waffles and More. We are a bunch of good people that we contribute to the society, the community very well, and we just serve. We're in the Lions Club. The Lions have been around for 101 years. In the 1920s, Helen Keller requested that we become the Knights of the Blind, so that's our first plank. We have 5 planks: sight and hearing, as you see, the Knights of the Blind, hunger, childhood cancer, environment, and the latest one came about 1.5 years ago, and it's diabetes. It kind of goes with sight. So if you're into service, come see us at the Prescott Sunrise Lions, Waffles and More, 7 a.m. every Thursday. Okay, so we are in tax credit season, and there's 4 tax credits that you can still utilize through April 15th. They are the public schools, which is $400, $200. So $400 married filing jointly, $200 other statuses. And that goes to a variety of programs in those public schools. They can go to the high school. I'm going to start giving the Tri-City because my son goes there. But I've been telling you guys to go to Prescott Valley Charter School, which Jessica's son goes to now. So that's an option for you. And you can also go to PHS, where my daughter graduated from. So there's a lot of different places you can go to. Go to the one you choose, but those are some choices for you to make. So $400, $200 for public schools. Foster care is $1,000 married filing jointly, $500 other statuses. One of the foster care programs, and there's about 30, is Casa for Kids, and that's the Casa for Kids Foundation. We might have them on here next. Then there's a charitable organization tax credit, which is my Lions Club, the Lions Club sponsoring this program. And that is $800 married filing jointly and $400 other statuses. And you can also, it used to be called the Working Poor. So all our programs that we do are for the working poor. We have a variety of them. YEI is one of them. There's Greatest Need, which a couple years ago we used Greatest Need money to give to buy scanners. So the Yavapai School nurses had scanners to go scan kids' eyes when they're in 1st and 2nd grade, so they're not in the back of the class thinking they're stupid because they can't read the board. So that's an important thing that you need to do, is consider that we use Greatest Need money for very important projects related to our planks that I just mentioned. Okay, so, and then the last one is the school tuition tax credit for places like Orme School and Primavera and Sacred Heart. I give you a lot of options, I'm sorry, but I have to give a couple options, even though Primavera is affiliated with Orme School. And again, it's $2,213 for married filing jointly, and half of that, $1,107, for other statuses, so that you can give scholarships to these kids that are going to these schools. So that's very important. The last one you can't really use now. It has and it's the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund, and that's $400, $200, but you can't really use that for 2018 because it's already been it's capped at $1 million, and it's already been capped. In fact, I got my money back because I sent it in August and it was too late. So, think about that. For this year, give some money to the Arizona Military Family Relief Fund for 2019, but it doesn't help you for 2018. All these other ones, if you do it by April 15th, they can help you for 2018. Okay, for the state. Now, instead of paying taxes to the state, you use these charitable organizations to not pay taxes to the state if you can help it, if you're not paying that much in tax. So if you owed $4,000 in taxes and you gave to all those charitable organizations up to $4,000, you would owe nothing and you would get your withholdings back. Now, if you owe $2,000 and you paid in $4,000, then you can carry that extra $2,000 forward up to 5 years. but you don't get it back, but you can carry it forward up to 5 years on your Arizona tax return. So make sure you understand that. And also, then you would also get your withholdings back. So this is a no-brainer. People know that this is really a no-brainer. Just give to these organizations instead of wasting your money down at the state where they decide where their money goes. Okay, so, and it used to help on your federal taxes too, these tax credits, but in this case, the government kind of stepped in August and said it's not going to help there. Now, it might be litigated, we might get it back, but right now, don't expect to be helped if you paid after, I think it was August 27th, to these charitable organizations. Don't expect to be helped on the federal, but it does still help you on the state. So consider that and pay these tax credits to these organizations instead of to the state, because it just wastes your money. Okay, so our guests today are Tina Barr and Jessica Calms. How do you say that? Calmus, I'm sorry, of the Orme School in Mare, Arizona, the Orme School. It's also affiliated with Primavera, which is up here in Prescott. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Jessica Kelmus, and I'm the Director of Admissions at the Orme School. I came to Orme 6 years ago from upstate New York and have been loving it ever since. I lived there with my family and my 2 boys, and my older son's currently a freshman at the school. My younger one, like you mentioned, is at Prescott Valley Charter School, and my husband is a farrier who works down in Phoenix mostly.
A farrier, so he makes furs?
He makes horseshoes.
Oh, horseshoes.
Horseshoes, yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. How about you, Tina?
So my name is Tina Barr, and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at the Orme School. I actually just started in July, mid-July. I was in Texas, having attended a boarding school myself in Vermont. I developed a deep passion for the outdoors, and I really found myself missing outdoor culture. And so after 7 years at my last school, started looking someplace where I could go hiking and camping without my friends laughing at the idea. And, Orme has a great culture of embracing the outdoors and allowing the students to be a big part of that as well. And I just fell in love with the school when I came to visit, and I'm very happy so far to be there. So.
All right. So you get students from all around the country, right?
We do. All around the world, actually.
Yeah. Around the world. I remembered meeting some from Africa, a couple from Africa, right?
Yep. So right now, our student population, we have about 140 students on campus. Half of our student body is international, and they're hailing from 20 different countries. So we have students from Africa, we have students from Asia, we have students from Europe, from South America, from Canada, from the United States. This year we have 13 states represented as well, and 4 Native American tribes too. So there's a lot of diversity in the student body. What we've tried to do is create a small global community within the ranch that we live on.
Okay, so that's great. It'll have a lot of variety. So do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity in October to travel to Greater China area, so I was able to go to Hong Kong, Beijing, Shanghai, Taiwan. I was able to meet a fair amount of alumni, some current parents, and it was a great opportunity to be able to come back to and talk a little bit more in depth to the students that we have from those areas and just better understand their culture. And we're going to be celebrating both this weekend and next weekend. We have Asian New Year is coming up, and so I know this weekend they have one trip planned to start celebrating that. Our dining hall is all decked out, as you noticed when you came to visit.
Yes.
So we have decorations everywhere right now because it's a big part of our community. We want everybody to feel comfortable sharing their culture, sharing what's important to them, sharing their holidays. And it's just, the campus looks amazing in the dining hall right now.
Do you guys know any Mandarin?
I've picked up a few words. I know horse is ma, and horseshoe is ma-ti, if I'm not mistaken.
Ma-ti.
Thank you, Shishi.
I think I even knew Shishi.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit the history of Orme School.
Orme has been around for a long time. It was started in 1929 by the Orme family. It originally was started as a one-room schoolhouse to educate the ranch hands' children and the Orme family's children. Being as remote as they were sort of like their own little self-sufficient community within then. So we still actually have the original one-room schoolhouse there that the students used to live
saw
in,
that.
and yeah, and the teacher lived in there with them. And one of the great things when they started the school that's still in implementation today is the fact that the students are getting a good education, but they're also actively taking part in working on the ranch or working at the school. And so, back then in 1929, the students would go to classes during the day and then work the ranch and take care of the cattle and take care of everything that it would take to keep that place self-sufficient. Whereas today, we still have part of that alive. Students can still take part in roundups and branding, and they all have a chore period during the day as well, where they're either working in our garden or working in our kitchen or doing something to give back to the community. It sort of grew into a school. In the 50s, 60s was its biggest growth point when people started to hear about this great school going on where kids were working in a great environment, great temperature, and students started being sent there from especially the East Coast who might have had asthma or health problems. Some from the West Coast who had heard that they were getting a really good education and getting into schools like Stanford, and the school sort of boomed from there. Today, it's really the last remaining ranch school in the West. There were several that were similar to it, such as Judson down in Phoenix, but
Okay.
Orme's really the last remaining ranch school right now.
I really like, Tina was telling me how you put everybody to work, and that's
Yep.
I really like that.
Yeah, the school has a great focus on sustainability, which is a big word you hear nowadays with schools. And we have a sustainability period, which is a really nice way of saying that the kids do chores. But we started as a working ranch, and that tradition is carried over, and it's a big part of who we are as a school. And I think it's a great tradition for the students too, to be able to learn responsibility, to see how much work goes on behind the scenes that they're not necessarily always aware of when they're younger, teaching them a better sense of responsibility, leadership, and they just get a lot out of it. So
Work
yes,
ethic, too.
our kids do chores,
Yeah.
but we call it sustainability. So it's a soft word.
So you use a different word to describe it. Okay, that's clever. That's clever. Okay, so what do you each do? Okay, so you bring both of you are part of admission, so you bring students in and you learn all about their cultures and
Yep.
try to help them with their culture a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, we're part of the advancement office at the school, and so with advancement, we oversee a lot. We oversee admissions for the school. We also do fundraising and alumni relations. I'm the vice president of the Orme Primavera Schools Foundation, so we run that fund as well. And so, generally, the advancement office is overseeing a lot of facets of the school, and our goal is to meet the students and families as they come in and follow them throughout graduation as they become alumni.
Okay, and when they give contributions for these tax credits, $2,213 married filing jointly and 1107 other statuses, you also they go to the foundation, right?
They go to the foundation. So Orme Primavera Schools Foundation is its own separate foundation from Orme School. We have partnered with the Primavera School here in Prescott, which is a K-6 school, private school, and people who give to that, both of our schools are able to use the money that we receive from those foundations to offset the cost of tuition. Boarding school is inherently expensive to go to, but one of the great things about Orme is that we've always been set up to be a school that should be accessible to Arizona families. And
Okay.
Orme Primavera allows us to be able to discount tuition to the point that Arizona families can afford an Orme education. So this year we have 35 students from Arizona, the majority of which who have been able to come to the school because of the funds given to Orme Primavera.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so how much do you really tend to receive each year?
We usually receive Orme. Well, I guess together as a foundation, we raise about $350,000 a year.
Okay.
We do split it with the Primavera School, and
Equally?
It depends on donations. So that's the great thing about Orme Primavera Foundation is that people can decide whether they want all of their money to go to Orme, if they want all of their money to go to Primavera, or they can split it equally between the two of us.
Okay, that's terrific.
So it works out great for the families here in Prescott who might be sending their kids to Primavera School and aren't really affiliated with us. They can give to Primavera, and vice versa. Our families that aren't affiliated with Primavera can give strictly to Orme.
That's terrific. And then what do you use the money for? Mainly scholarships or all
It
scholarships?
is all scholarships. So one of the really good things about Orme Primavera Foundation is that we all volunteer our time on the board. We have very, very little administrative expenses. 97% of our funds go directly to scholarships to help students attend both schools.
Nonprofits, it's a good percentage that 80% goes to the program and about 20% goes to fundraising and management.
Yeah.
So that's a terrific percentage of 97%.
Yeah, and we all work hard. Carol from Primavera School does a great job going around the Prescott area
Yes.
and telling people about it. And Tina and my coworker and myself, we go to different areas in Yavapai County where we get the most of our donations from and help spread the word about it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
terrific.
I just think it's an amazing way to equalize private school education in Arizona. I mean, it allows funds like this allow every family access to private school education where they may not think that they're able to afford it because of benefits like this that Arizona has set up. I just think it's an amazing program. Having just moved here, and I've lived in a couple of other states, and I've never seen a program like this. And it's an amazing thing that Arizona does, just really allowing for an equalization.
I like the word you're using, equalization, so that all people can be part of it. It's really good that they can, other kids that may not have the means to get here, but the desire can actually come.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of students that are academically capable of succeeding in private schools, but a lot of people have this mentality of, there's a huge expense associated with private schools. But funds like this and individuals that shift their state taxes to these types of funds allow every family to have the access to a private school education. And it's just an amazing thing to be able to offer youth. And it's one of the things that drew me to Orme, because they do allow their program to be accessible to really any family. We really do our best to try and work with families and make it accessible.
I didn't know there was sports at Orme
Yeah.
until I came down there to visit.
Yeah, and you heard all about how many people invited you to the basketball game that night when you came to
Probably
visit?
5 or 6. Probably 5 or 6.
It was a heck of a game too. It went into overtime, by the way.
Yeah? Who won?
Unfortunately.
You didn't win. You didn't
Orme
win.
played an amazing game.
Well, you went to
and
overtime.
It was
That's
just
good.
Very close.
It was a really
And it was
good
the best
game.
team in the state?
Yes.
Yes.
in your
number
group?
one team.
It was
in the
number
state.
one. Yep. And they still made it to playoffs. They have another big game this Friday. They did win last night. Girls won by 1 point in the game last night, and the boys won by a bit last night.
Mm-hmm. One of the nice thing about the sports at Orme is we are a small school, only 140 kids. So, for the student that wants to learn a new sport, they have that opportunity. They're not going to get benched. They're not going to have to worry about making the varsity team or not making the team and then not getting to play a sport that they love. They're going to get that play time during their time at Orme. It's just an incredible opportunity, and it's neat for us to get to see students from all over the world coming together to play American football or volleyball or basketball even, and just get to see them learning different strategies to work together with one another and come together, and to the point that they are very, very successful. Our basketball team is doing great so far. We've had a couple of state championships the last couple of years. We've had a couple of football state championships.
Wow.
Some individual championships in track and field, and so there's really in tennis, there's really a great opportunity for them to be able to expand on that. And then for the non-sports kids, we have a phenomenal horsemanship program.
Oh, yeah.
Horses
Well,
have always been part of it.
Why isn't equestrian, or whatever you call that, why isn't that considered a sport, huh?
Well,
Jessica would consider it a sport.
it is. Actually,
She competes too,
horses
so.
are considered a sport at the school, and so we have a lot of kids that are up there right now. Right now, we're working with the advanced riders. I help out with there, so I'm a barrel racer, and I compete on a regular basis, and my son competes on a regular basis. We have a couple boys from Germany right now who are really, really good riders that are riding with us. A boy from Utah.
From Germany, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, from
Nikolai.
Germany.
They have cowboys in Germany?
They do. They do. Yeah, amazingly so they do. And
All right.
sometimes we'll get kids that want to come be a cowboy, and that's a draw of Orme. We have a boy from Korea right now who has always wanted to be a cowboy, and he
He has all the outfits.
he has the outfit,
the
he
hat,
has the
Has the
belt,
spurs and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's got the
And
spurs.
he is
Oh, that's
he is
cool.
living the dream. So
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity. And with the horses too, what's neat is to see kids from other countries be exposed to horses when they have never even seen one in person before, and get to learn how to ride and take care of them, and do the chore program with them, and learn from their peers too, who are out there actively competing in rodeos and roping events and things.
That's terrific. That's awesome. I really like that. And so tell us about any current and future projects that you guys have.
Oh gosh. So
So many, huh?
Yeah.
And that, it's our school is celebrating our 90th year this year, and so we're definitely looking to do some fantastic projects. And the Fine Arts Festival is coming up, and we have this 1 week at school where the students do not have any classes, and in fact they just shared the list last week for students to sign up, and they have the opportunity to do a variety of things. And I am most excited because we have this amazing architect who's an alumni coming to campus, and one project that he's going to be working on with the students, using recycled materials, they're going to be creating a pavilion, so a new outdoor space for the students, a new graduation space. And I follow him on Instagram, and his work is just amazing, and the kids to be able to be exposed to something like this is just fantastic. That's one project.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, absolutely. And gearing up for our 100-year celebration in 10 years, we do have a centennial campaign running, where we're working on some campus improvement projects, and also looking always to expand our programs. The last couple of years, we've implemented a STEAM program, so the science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so through that, we've been able to add some new advanced placement courses such as AP Art History, AP Computer Science. We've also added an engineering class, which has been super cool, as well as an engineering activity that they've been making a wind turbine for. And we've had robotics, and so we're always looking for ways to expand the offerings that we're giving to our students as well in terms of the curriculum.
yeah, it was cybersecurity is new this year.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic class, I think, for the students nowadays to be able to take something like that. And there's some great programs.
And it'll help them if they want to go to Embry-Riddle, and they have a big cybersecurity program there.
Yes.
Well, and in the Middle East,
Yes.
especially in Israel, it's required to graduate from high school. And so we want to be able to take things like that into account for our students that are studying from other countries, because we want them, that high school graduation requirements to carry over to their country, so that they receive that graduation credit. So we always try and take those things into account because of our global.
Don't all students in Israel have to also go in the military?
I'm
I don't know.
sure.
I don't know. We have not had any Israeli students lately, but I think one of the nice things about a curriculum at a school like Orme is that we do set our own curriculum. We're not mandated by the state public school standards, so we can meet students where they come in. So if we have an 8th grader come in and test into geometry or algebra 2, which tends to be 10th grade classes, that student can go into those 10th grade classes. So there's a lot of mixture in the classes. A 9th grade English 1 class might have 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders in it. We really work with each individual student to come up with an education plan to help them meet their goals for their college profiles and for their academic goals.
So the students start when and end when? Is it longer too? I mean, I know it's a boarding school, and most of them a lot of them probably stay, especially if they're outside the country. But
Yeah.
when do they start and when do they end the school year?
They actually start late August, so we actually start a little bit later than the public schools here in Prescott. And so our start date for this year is August 26th, and we go through about May 20th every year. The big difference with us is that we don't get 3-day weekends or anything like that because it's too difficult for our students to go home. So we get a little bit longer at Christmas time, and we get a little bit longer at March for spring break, so that our international students can go home if they want to. What's really cool over breaks too is that they're long enough that sometimes our American students will host an international family at their
That's good.
home, and vice versa. We've had American students go to their international friends' homes for these incredible experiences in countries like
Yeah.
Brazil and Italy, and a couple of our alums were just in Paris a couple of weeks ago, and so it's
That's
really
awesome.
cool for them to be exposed to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the results of your efforts? I mean, you make about $350,000, and you're able to fund scholarships for how many students?
We have roughly 20 students on scholarships this year through Orme Primavera Foundation. The nice thing about the scholarships is that Orme Primavera Foundation, by taking that money and giving it to Arizona students, that helps us free up our general scholarship fund to be able to give to non-Arizona residents as well. So even though on paper the number's only 20 that students that are getting those funds, that's helping us free up other scholarship funds for other students from around the world to be able to come to the school too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we've worked really hard to grow the fund the last couple of years. This is my 6th year working with the fund, and I think a couple of years ago we were a little bit over $100,000 that Orme was getting from the fund, and we've been working hard to spread the word to our current families and to the residents of Yavapai County, especially about the benefits of giving to it.
Okay, and do you want to give the address and everything for your foundation?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go online to ormeprimaveraschoolsfoundation.org. You can also send a check to Orme Primavera Schools Foundation at HC 63 Box 3040. Mayor, Arizona, 86333. Anybody needing more information too can call me as well, and my number is 928-632-1564. And anybody affiliated with Primavera School as well as Carol Darrow would be happy to answer any questions for them as well.
Yes, I know Carol pretty well. I talk to her every once in a while. Okay, so anything you want to add, Tina?
I mean, it's a great opportunity, as I mentioned, to allow students this opportunity to attend a private school, and it allows us, again, as Jessica was saying, to free up scholarship funds for students applying from other areas within the country, outside the country, and so it's just a great opportunity to be able to offer a phenomenal opportunity to the youth.
All right, terrific. Okay, so we are the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club, and would like to invite you to our club meeting, which is held at Waffles and More at 7 a.m. every Thursday. I know I beat that to death. 7 a.m., Waffles and More every Thursday. You will find our club is friendly and fun, but also engaged in the Prescott and Prescott Valley communities, really the Tri-City area. We joke and laugh and fully understand our purpose in the community. We serve. That is actually our motto. If you want to be part of such a group, then become a member of the club. I also want to thank the Prescott Media Center, Jim, Linda, and Emma for helping us with the program today, especially Emma. She's the one behind the camera. She's doing everything. And again, I want to thank Tina Barr and Jessica Comas. I can't say that. I got it right.
Yeah.
Of the Orme School for joining us and talking about their school. Thank you very much, and contribute to the Orme School and the Prescott Sunrise Lions Club. Thank you.